Reading the Gospel of Mary Magdalene reconnected me back to Christ, back to my understanding of Jesus, being a jaded, reformed, religious person and not knowing where to turn, knowing that I felt a connection to Christ my whole life and I felt comforted in a very specific way by the Spirit of Christ, but then losing that for many years because I was jaded and I was hurt by religion, I was hurt by church, and I didn't know how to find my way back. Reading this book, Mary Magdalene Revealed, led me back to Jesus. And as I said in a previous video, I'm going to be reading this book with y'all. Anybody who's felt the call of Mary Magdalene right now, there's a specific reason why you've been thinking about her, why you've been feeling her presence, why you've been seeing roses and bees and different signs of Mary Magdalene. Because the earth is waking up to the Mary Magdalene code. It has been hidden from us purposefully because it is the very message that connects the figure of Jesus and the idea of Christ to ourselves and our own power and divinity. It is what has actually been missing. They left it out on purpose because it empowered us and it stripped them of their power. So they hid it. They ripped the books of Mary out of the Bible on purpose because it is the very divine feminine message that connects us all with God and with the power of God. We no longer need a middleman anymore. We no longer need men to concede for us to God or represent us because we ourselves are weak or are sinful. The Mary Magdalene idea is the divine feminine idea that we have it within us and that we do not need anybody outside of us to give it to us. This was the very first section in the book that did this for me. It says, when Christ says, acquire my peace within yourselves in the Gospel of Mary, I hear this as a directive to focus not on worshiping him, but on becoming like him, to not distance him and distinguish him as other than us, but rather see him as an example of who we all have the potential to become. We can acquire his peace within ourselves. This is the quintessential message of Mary Magdalene. And if you are hearing her call or thinking about her more, or in my case, having dreams of her, it is because you are being asked to center yourself in the knowing that you have the divinity within you, that you are looking to preachers, pastors, and Jesus himself to give to you. You are not a wretched creature that is sinful by nature and that needs a death of a Christ figure to redeem yourself. You have the beauty, magnificence, glory, and divinity within you and have always had it within you. You need to do nothing to earn it. You just need to reconnect to it. And what does that mean? Well, it is the call of Mary Magdalene. And of course, it is the divine feminine message that has been lost from the earth and lost from the hearts of men. And that is why we find ourselves in the precarious situation we are in, where we are all divided, where we are warring and fighting and separated, because we have lost the divine feminine on the micro and the macro, within our hearts and in our countries, our nations, our governments. Mary Magdalene's message is very simple, and it starts with the idea in this very first introduction that we have the power and divinity of God within us, that we must reject the messaging that we need to earn it by anybody outside of us, and that we need to love ourselves, respect and honor ourselves, protect ourselves from things that would separate us from that divinity, that would make us forget that divinity. And I talk about this all the time in my videos, that women need to reclaim their sovereignty and their power and their self-worth and self-love. And when that happens on a universal level, the whole world changes. The entire universe changes, I would argue, because then it will require men to rise to be deserving of that divine femininity. And then when the two come together, the divine masculine and the divine feminine in divine union, that gives every single human on earth this magic to feel safe and seen and heard and go out and live their life's purpose. And everybody has a distinct purpose. Nobody can take it from you, and it's your distinct purpose. And you can most readily and powerfully fulfill it in divine union. And it all starts with the divine feminine recognizing and realizing her power and worth and standing in it and not settling for less. And the men need to reconnect with their divine femininity and also understand this. It's not a gender thing, it's an energy thing. We all have the balance of the feminine and masculine within us. But we are being asked as a collective right now to balance our divine femininity. And that's when everything changes. If you are feeling the call to Mary Magdalene, follow me, follow along with me as we read this book, Mary Magdalene Revealed, and we tap back into the Magdalene codes and what this world needs at this pivotal time.